the chip shot. It's easy enough. You've just missed the green. You've got a matter of feet or yards to the flag, and yet you can't hit down, create flight and spin to knock the ball close to the flag. I'm going to show you why you can't do those 3 important ingredients and how you're going to fix them. You've all been screaming out, Stuart, do some short game. I want to see how you chip the golf ball close to the flag. You've also asked, how do you pitch the golf ball, and various putting as well. Well, I'm going to give you what you want, a bit of short game work. The chip shot, first of all, is something that is a horror show for a lot of golfers. Invariably, you have a fat strike where the club is bottoming out early. Then, after you've done a few fat strikes, you then get yourself a little thinned shot. And if you're really unlucky, you've got yourself one of those nasty shankaroos. The ingredients of chipping is very, very simple. How you apply it, well, if you've got enough case history of bad chip shots, you will really get yourself into a bit of a pickle. Let's appreciate that we are trying to hit down and create flight. I did a piece on Jordan Spieth's short game on Sky Sports Golf a few weeks ago. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. But it talks about, or I talked about, how a golfer wants to feel like they can hit down and create flight. Now, the hitting down part has really been sucked out of golfers because there's been so much prolific advice to use the bounce. Use the bounce, use the bounce. Goodness me, if I hear that one more time, I'm going to scream. Not literally. But if you understand that when the handle and the head are lined up, you have plenty of bounce. So you don't need to start opening up the club face. If you lean the club shaft forwards, that's fine too. Don't get caught up in trying to make this club head come back perfectly in line with the club head. I just want to throw that out there to start with. When we are hitting down at a golf ball when the speed is so low, it is super easy for golfers to accelerate the handle way too fast. And I would say out of all of the ingredients that causes problems the most, it is this one. The change of direction from backswing to downswing, because it's well within your movement, as opposed to when we start to, and let me digress, if you were to throw a golf ball, or if you were going to move your arm to full extension, there is a braking mechanism in your muscles that slows the hand down to stop the shoulder from pulling itself out of joint. So when we come to making a full backswing, when we start to reach the end of range, there is a braking mechanism in our muscles that has a much better way of slowing the swing down and transferring the energy back the other way. Now, when you're making a swing that has a much shorter backswing and the tolerance is not being, or you're not reaching the outer tolerance of your muscles, it's up to you to slow the backswing down and bring the club back the other way. Now, when I see golfers demonstrating drills, they'll often be moving the golf club around like lunatics. But when you're chipping, we need to make sure that when we transfer energy from backswing to downswing, we need to make the transfer of energy from backswing to downswing a subtle one. If we have sudden accelerations of the handle, all of a sudden, the club head will get left behind. When the club head then gets left behind, your right hand, or the trail hand, becomes fired up way too quickly, because it's trying to gather up the club head that you have left behind. So the first chip shot that you do when you feel a little bit nervous, you get a bit accelerated with the golf ball, or with the handle, should I say, and then what happens is you create an angle of attack that is incredibly down, 11.2. When you then, and unfortunately, when you accelerate the handle so vigorously, the handle moves towards the target, the club head lifts up and creates a big gap between the head and the ground that you now have to lower. Because you accelerate, the club head comes up, the ground feels too far away, which is why we see this involuntary drop of the knees. The instruction then is to try and line the shaft up. Try and get the club head to line up so that you don't get so much handle drive. But really, the essence of the change, the root cause of the change, is the direction change from backswing to downswing and the energy that you're producing. So the more time you give yourself between backswing and downswing, the more opportunity you have of bringing the golf club with you and reducing the amount of angle of attack. Now think about when you have hit a few bad chips and you are shaking like the proverbial pooing dog. Giving yourself time doesn't seem like a nice thing to do, which is why you need to do this in the privacy of your own home and not when you've got the guys there waiting to rib you. We are looking to make the transition between handle and head as soft and as subtle as possible, and then feel the speed and the energy down through strike. The more I accelerate the handle, all of a sudden, I start to create a much more aggressive angle of attack, 11.6. And of course, I start to lift the head up off the floor, I start to create more thins, and I leave the face more open. Once I then start to leave the face more open, I then start to use my right hand more and more, which is when you then suddenly get the involuntary movement through strike as well, yippee actions. So the top of the pile of chipping is to get the club in your fingers, move it back and through so that you feel the transition in backswing to downswing. Remember, you've got to start from a static stop. Look at how delicate I'm having to be to make that club move with me. Now, of course, we have two hands on the golf club that can help with that. But it just goes to show you how volatile the light end and the heavy end act on each other, which is why I go on about it all of the time in the full swing. Once you've started to feel that change of direction as something that's very, very important to you, hovering the golf club would then be quite a nice idea because you start to feel like you've got the weight of the club head in your grip. And you start to allow the club head and the handle to work with each other. Club head's off the floor. I start to move the golf club away. Not without the handle moving aggressively. I start to move it all the way together. The transfer from backswing to downswing starts to come with me, and off I go. This, without doubt, is the biggest ingredient for all chippers. Ball position, standing open, standing shut, it's all garbage. You can chip beautifully from lots of different orientations. But this is the number one ingredient that will absolutely start to change the way you chip and how you feel the contact on the golf ball. And it will make that angle of attack become much lighter. Line your club face up. and start to give you the opportunity to hit down and create flight. So transition between backswing and downswing will really start to open up your short game, whether it be If you're tired of paying too much for your premium leather golf gloves, head over to gxgolfgloves.com. These are gloves trusted by tour players and elite amateurs alike. Use my code GOODCOACHING to receive 10% off your next order. Go try them out. You won't be disappointed. Bunker shot, whether it be your putting, anything, because your light end and heavy end need to talk to each other. That is crucial. I couldn't possibly round up short game and chipping in one video, but hopefully this has given you a really good start point to develop some short game. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Do consider subscribing while you're here. And that, my friends, is good coaching.